In this video, I'm going to show you the exact three-phase process we use to scale Meta ads from 0 to $1 million a month fast. We've used the same process to take brands from 0 to $1 million a month in under 90 days and from 0 to 100 million in under 36 months. So let's dive in, starting with phase 1, building a heater offer. And a heater offer is just an offer that's too damn good for your market to refuse. If you get this right, scaling to $1 million a month is 100 times easier for you. If you get this wrong, your ads are basically fucked right out the gate, and it's almost impossible to scale. And I know this because I've seen this firsthand. I've worked with over 250 clients in the past 8 years, and I analyzed what separates the brand that scales past 8 figures versus the ones that flopped, because success leaves clues, especially at that level of data and spend. And the answer was black and white. It wasn't creatives. It wasn't media buying. Every single winner had an offer that hit 3 things. 1, it provided an outcome the market actually wanted. 2, it delivered that outcome in a unique way. And 3, it had strong enough economics to support scale. When a client had all 3 of those, their ads scaled on easy mode. They'd launch with a basic ads and landing pages, and it would just take off right away. The clients who failed could have the best looking creatives, the best media buying, and be so passionate as founders about their product, but it didn't matter. If their offer didn't meet those 3 criteria, that shit would tank. All of them, without exception, failed if they did not meet those 3 criteria. So get those 3 things right, and your ads take off by default. And if you want proof, look at one of the biggest brands running ads right now, Athletic Greens. The outcome they provide is more energy throughout the day. What makes it unique is they provide 75 plus vitamins and supplements in one single scoop. And the economics work because it's a subscription starting at $79 a month. No single servings, no trials. You can even see this in my own agency offer. The outcome I provided was more revenue. What made it unique is we guaranteed a 10x ROI on our fee, and you paid nothing out of pocket to get started. And the economics were $5,000 for the first 8-week engagement on a pay-as-you-go model. 2 completely different markets, same 3 boxes ticked, which is why those offers took off. So your focus in this phase is to rapidly test offers on Meta until you find a heater offer that takes off. And here's how to do that in 4 steps. Step 1 is research your market. You need a pulse of what offers are crushing in your market right now, because this is where the money's made. So put together a list of the top brands running ads in the space, both direct competitors and indirect competitors, anyone selling something to your people. Then find their top ads using the Meta ad library or tool like Foreplay, and it'll be obvious once you do this research because most of their top ads will be pointing to a few offers. And if it's a big brand that have a bunch of ads running for a long time to these offers, you know it's converting, or else they wouldn't be spending that fucking money. Then keep doing this until you have a list of offers that are clearly selling well to your market, because when you do this, patterns are going to start showing up. For example, when I did this research for my own business, I realized the B2B offers taking off on Meta basically all promise an outcome tied to revenue, guaranteed that result, and we're done for you. So I modeled that for my offer and it took off. So don't skip this step. Spend the damn time on it. This is where the money is made. Then step 2 is you want to create your own differentiated version, because the point of that first step was to research, but it's not to copy the winning offers. It's to figure out what people are already buying, and then you take an offer that's already working and you build your own unique version of it that's different and unique to you. And there's 4 ways to do this. The first way is provide a better guarantee. That is a bigger promise or a lower commitment to get started. My agency promised a 10x ROI guarantee, and the commitment was low because it was a pay-as-you-go model, so it hit both. The second way is having a fundamentally better product. So maybe you've got better suppliers, better research and development, or a real skill set that nobody else has. So if you look at a hot offer and you genuinely know you can build a better version of it, go do that. The third way is better positioning. That's taking a winning offer to a new market or finding a new angle in the same one. So look at ClickFunnels. They were a landing page builder, but they positioned it as a funnel builder, which was a new concept, and they were able to take off and build a whole new category of funnels. And the fourth way is better pricing, either cheaper or more premium. So pick one of these and make it obvious. When someone sees your offer, they should be immediately like, whoa, I haven't seen this before. This is different. Then step 3 is build your minimum viable offer testing assets. So your offer at this stage should be doing most of the heavy lifting. So you don't need fancy ads or landing pages. And I mean basic, like your ad should simply say, I've got this offer. Here's what it does for you. Here's proof it works. Here's how to get it. And your landing page basically says the same shit. Like that should be enough. Every heater offer I've seen takes off with very simple assets that sound just like that. Because again, the offer is giving something people want in a unique way they haven't seen before. That is the juice. Same thing with your targeting. As long as you don't fuck up your targeting or you're targeting the completely wrong person, it'll work. Step 4, launch it and read the signal. So a heater offer hits your target cost per result right out the gate. And most of the time it beats it. Like you won't have to optimize a heater offer into profitability. You launch it and it just takes off. And that's because you're launching at a small scale of spend first, which is the most profitable the offer will ever be. And remember that because it matters the most in phase 3, which we're going to get to. So you should never have to grind an offer into profitability. That's the key lesson. If it's not there, don't try to save it. Scrap it and test another offer and keep going until you find a heater offer that takes off right away. So that's phase one. Follow this process and you'll find a heater offer that takes off. Now, what decides how big your offer actually gets is how you scale it from here. And if you get this part wrong, your offer doesn't reach its full potential and someone else is going to beat you to it. So let's move on to phase two, which is scaling your offer. This is where it gets fun. Real quick, if you haven't already, go get our free advertisers playbook. It has 100 plus of our winning ads, emails, and split tests that we use every single day to scale brands. Links in the description or the first pinned comment. So go grab that if you haven't already. That being said, let's get back to the video. Once you got a heater offer, phase two is scaling that offer up as aggressively as possible until it breaks. And when I say breaks, I mean it reaches its blow up point. So this is the ceiling where your offer stops scaling profitably without your ROAS tanking. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that in phase three, but your job in phase two is to find out where that ceiling is by ramping as hard as you can. And this is by far the funnest phase because you're basically printing money on easy mode where you can keep scaling without much of a fight. And here's what I mean. We had a client go from 0 to 25 mil a year in 12 months. And this is all we did for them. We scaled up their winning ads and we produced more creatives to make more winning ads. That is it. We just spam that play over and over again because once you have a heater offer, those are the two highest leverage levers you can pull to keep scaling the account. Same thing I noticed in my own business. I had my heater offer that was printing at about $500 a day with one sales rep. So to scale it, I hired 3 more sales reps, scaled spend from $500 to $1,500 a day in spend simply by putting more ad spend on my winning ads, and their calendars filled up, they started closing more deals, and we scaled past 6 figures a month. It was really that straightforward once you're in this phase. And where your ceiling sits depends entirely on how strong your offer currently is. For some accounts, that blow-up point is $2,000 a day. For others, it's $30,000 a day. You don't know until you push, which is why your goal is to aggressively ramp it up so you can win big before someone else beats you to it. So let's break down how you scale in this phase. And there's only 2 steps. Step 1 is scale your winning ads with media buying. And you scale with media buying in 2 ways. The first way is vertical scaling, where you gradually raise budgets on the campaigns or ad sets hitting your targets by 20 to 50% at a time. And you keep pushing it up until your return drops. And when it does, you simply revert it back to the last profitable spend level. The second way is horizontal scaling, where you duplicate the ads hitting your targets and you scale them out by testing new platform audiences or lookalikes, new campaign types like CBO or ABO, or new bid strategies like highest volume, cost per result, or bid cap. And by combining these 2 media buying strategies together, you can take single ads to millions in revenue in very short time windows. We've done it over and over again. Then step 2 is produce creatives to make more winners, because winning ads eventually fatigue. So you need a pipeline that keeps feeding you new ones. And here's the key thing. At this stage, you already know what messaging is working. So 80% of what you produce is just more variations of your winners. So here's a few ways to do that. 1, you can change the creative format. So test UGC, podcast style, street interviews, memes, and different statics. You're essentially saying the same winning message in a different package and format. Next, you can change the environment. So shoot it outside, inside, or on a green screen. Then you can change the actor because different genders, races, or ages pull in different segments of your market. And finally, you can change the hook. So the first 5 to 10 seconds of your top ads, because that section carries the most weight. Everything else in the ad stays the exact same. For example, my original winner was me walking around my office yapping a 10x ROI guarantee. Then I shot that exact same ad in a different setup and it did even better. Then I made hook variations of that ad where the only thing that changed was the opening line. So instead of me opening saying, if you want to scale your revenue and sales, I would open saying, are you tired of agencies that overpromise and underdeliver? And it would go right back into the same pitch. So it was the same offer, same body, led in with a different hook and angle, and it worked. Then the other 20% of your creatives go to testing brand new concepts. So new angles and messages you haven't tested yet. So you're always expanding your winners. And then you just repeat these 2 steps until you reach your offer's ceiling. And you know you've reached your offer ceiling when your ROAS starts dropping and you can't ramp spend any further without going outside your target cost per result. Once you're at that point, you need to pull the next lever to unlock the next stage of scale, which is phase 3, scaling your model. And this is where most brands who plateau die. They end up here and they don't know how to fix it. So they sit in this zone forever and they keep burning money. So let me show you what to do once you get here. So first, you need to understand why your offer hits a ceiling in the first place. And there's a few reasons this happens. The biggest one is that as you scale up your spend, you reach colder audiences. At lower spend, Meta serves your ads to the most likely buyers in your market. And those people are the easiest to convert. Then as you scale up, Meta has to reach colder and colder audiences, and those people are much harder to convert. So an offer that converts profitably at $1,000 a day in spend might not be strong enough to scale at $5,000 a day in spend. The second reason is competition. If you got in early with a hot product, people are going to start noticing that shit. So they're going to start copying your offer and undercutting you on price, and your returns are going to start coming down. Now, if you've scaled an offer heavily, this usually shows up somewhere, in my experience, between 6 months to a year down the line. And the third reason is fatigue, because think about it. You just spent a whole phase scaling an offer as hard as you could. So eventually your market will get fatigued of this offer. Now, if you have a tiny total addressable market, this happens pretty fast. If you have a massive TAM, it takes millions of dollars in spend to get anywhere near this. Now, when you do reach that ceiling where your offer no longer is as profitable, the answer isn't another creative test. You have to upgrade your model. And here's what I mean. Your model is your acquisition engine. It's the thing that actually determines your return on ad spend. And it has two parts: your front-end model, which is the offers you use to attract new customers, and your back-end model, which is the offers you sell to increase lifetime value from the customers you've already got. And improving one of these two areas in your model is the entire focus of phase 3. But almost nobody does that. They hit that blow-up point and immediately reach for either more creatives or media buying, because that's what everyone else tells them to do. Test more creatives, try a new campaign structure. But none of those fix the root cause issue, because paid ads, fundamentally, if you think about it, it's a game of economics. Like, whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins, because Meta is a bidding platform. And creative and media buying barely touch your economics. Your model is what moves your economics. And here's a perfect example of this. We had a fitness client selling a $97 workout challenge, which worked really well for a while. They were doing, a 2 to 3x return on the front end, getting tons of new buyers. But as they started scaling up their spend, their ROAS started dropping until they reached a point where they were basically break even. So they were getting a bunch of buyers, but they weren't making any money. And they spent all this time testing new creatives and all these different media buying hacks to try to improve their ROAS, but nothing was working. So when I looked at their account, what I noticed is their ad metrics were already really good, and their landing page was converting really high, like close to 4% on cold traffic, which is really good. So the odds of them magically doubling their conversion rate was basically zero. So what I did is I said, hey, instead of trying to fix this with more creatives and media buying, let's just launch a coaching program that's 10 times the price for the people who want to work with you guys directly and want more accountability. So we launched this coaching offer at 10x the price, and 5% of people who bought the challenge ended up buying this high ticket offer. And that completely changed their ad economics without a single new creative. So now they actually had a model that was built for scale. The challenge brought people in, and the coaching program made money on the back end, and that's what let them scale again. So here's how you fix your model to reach the next level of scale. There's 2 steps. Step 1, decide which side of your model to fix. So if you're way off your targets and losing real money, work on improving your front end, because you need offers that fundamentally bring in customers at better economics in the first place. Now, if your ads are close to profitability, so around break even or just under that, and you only need a little bit more wiggle room to scale, work on improving your back end, because getting more money from existing customers is a much easier lever for you to pull right now. Then step number 2 is you want to go and improve it. So if it's your front end you're improving, you're gonna go back into offer testing. So ideally testing 1 new offer a week with basic ads and landing pages, exactly like we did in phase 1. And you've got 3 types of offers you can test. The first type is enhancing your hero offer. So take the offer that's already working for you and make it harder to refuse with a stronger guarantee, better bonuses, or better payment terms, or combining them all together. This is your lowest hanging fruit because you're improving something that's already working for you. The second type of offer you can test is repackaging existing products. So look at your product suite and find things that you can bundle together into more attractive offers, like bestseller bundles or bundles around solving a complete outcome or problem. So Manscaped does this really well with their Performance Package 5.0, which has everything you need to keep below the waist grooming easy. And the third type of offer you can test is new breakthrough offers. So this is going out and finding a product or offer that delivers an outcome your market wants in a unique way with strong economics, exactly like we did in phase 1. And this takes the most upfront work, but at this stage, it's usually where the real juice is. And I mean that, like we had a client stuck at their ceiling and we spent 6 months testing new creative angles and new media buying strategies, but nothing worked. So we flipped our focus on testing new front-end offers every single week. And within 90 days, those offer tests were adding over $370,000 a month in new revenue. There was no creative test or media buying tweak that we did in the previous 6 months that had as big as an impact as the first 90 days of offer testing. Now, if it's your back end you're fixing, you're building products to sell existing customers. And there's 4 types of back end products. The first type is upsells, which is selling a better version of a product they already purchased. The second type is cross sells, which is a product that solves the next need or problem they have. The third type is continuity, which is anything they pay for on a recurring basis. And the last type is downsells, which is a cheaper version of a product. And here's the big thing. What you're optimizing for with your back-end products is impact on economics, which comes down to 2 numbers: your take rate, which is what percentage of your buyers take this back-end product, and your price. Now, where people get this wrong is they only obsess over take rate. But if you look at the math, this is the wrong approach. A $10 product with a 50% take rate only adds $5 to your lifetime value. Now, a $100 product with a 10% take rate adds $10. So half the take rate, but double the impact. So you want the highest price you can charge with a take rate that still holds up, because again, you're optimizing for economics. That fitness client was the perfect example. They had a 5% take rate on a product that was 10 times the price, and that changed their economics and allowed them to scale. Now, once you identify the back-end product you want to launch, then integrate it into your upsell flow and measure the results to see if it improves your ROAS and allows you to keep scaling. And then you simply repeat this process to keep deepening your back-end over time, so customers have more products they can spend money on, which increases your LTV and allows you to outspend your competition. Now, let me show you how these three actually fit together, because this isn't a list, it's a loop. Phase 1 gets you a heater offer the market wants. Phase 2 ramps that offer until it hits its ceiling. Then phase 3 rebuilds your model to raise that ceiling further. And from there, it's just phase 2 and phase 3 repeating. Ramp it until it breaks, then rebuild the model, ramp it again. And every time you go around it, the ceiling is higher than it was before. That's the whole machine. So if you're wondering what to focus on right now, here's what to do. If you're spending less than $1,000 a day profitably on ads, focus on phase 1 and go build a heater offer. If you're spending past $1,000 a day on ads and you're profitable, focus on phase 2 and ramp it further with creatives and media buying. And if you're spending past $1,000 a day, but your ads are not profitable enough to scale anymore, focus on phase 3 and fix your model to unlock the next level of scale. So anyways, hope you found this video helpful. Now, if you want to scale your ads further for free, go get our Advertisers Playbook. It has 100 plus of our winning ads, emails, and split tests and workflows that we use every single day to scale ads further. Links in the description or the first pinned comment. Make sure to get that. Again, it's everything we've learned over the past 8 years scaling ads and spending tens of millions of dollars and generating over 9 figures in sales. And all the good stuff is in that damn playbook. So go get it, and I'll see you inside. Cheers.